Okay, so starting here my presentation about real-time operational systems. I'm Kai Travain, and to start, I would like to make an overview about what RTOSs are. RTOSs are basically operating systems that are based on the real-world timing. So they need to execute tests periodically with the time set based on the real-world timing, not unlike macOS or Windows that if they have a problem or a delay, it would just stutter the stream and the user may be a little bit unhappy. They are mission critical, so they must execute their process in their timeline, their deadline. Some examples of RTOSs that we have current in the market is cars. They use that on the fuel system. Electric cars use that a lot in our defense, in missiles and medical industry. You cannot afford to have stutters or to delay some tests. So you need RTOSs so they can deliver and execute those processes in a real time and don't waste any time for those and execute the mission when they need to. And how they can schedule their tests to achieve and execute in a real time, different from Windows and macOS. First, most of them actually use a priority-based algorithm. So what that means, they insert a priority, they set a priority to every process, and they run based on their priority. And if they have a process with a higher priority that was created, it's going to enter directly into the CPU. So it's a preemptive priority-based schedule. And how they assign those priority. There are two most common ways. The first one is rate monotonic, that it means the longer the period, the least priority has. So RTOSs and embedded systems, most of the times they have to execute process a lot of times in such period. So this is going to say, if your process is going to execute every 1 second, it's going to have a lower priority than a process that needs to execute every 10 milliseconds. Another type of algorithm is the earliest deadline first. That is, when you create a process, it needs to say when he needs to be due and its deadline. So it's going to assign priority based on deadline. So if you have a deadline for 100 millisecond in the future, it's going to have a higher priority than one that needs to be executed in a 1 second in the future. So those are the two most common algorithms. And now we go to see some examples in the market that we have now. We have VxWorks, LinOS, and FreeRTOS. Those will be the ones that I'll be covering in this presentation. First, start with VxWorks. It's a proprietary system, so you need to pay a license to use it. And it was basically made for large systems, so ARM, Intel 64, and even sorry, MIPS processor. And its algorithm is the fixed priority preemptive system. And when they have two processes with the same priority, it's going to use the round robin. So it's going to context switch a lot between those processes. And that's why RTOSs must have a fast context switch and a very low latency. So they can do this a lot and achieve the deadlines on every process. VxWorks is mostly common in defense and medical industries, and it's very used for those mission criticals, also in the airplane and aerospatial systems. Going to LinOS, it was based on Linux, but it's also a proprietary one, so it also requires a license. It used the same algorithms as VxWorks and was also made for the same purpose, for bigger platforms like x86, ARM, and also some old Motorola processors. And is also present in the medical, uh, some vehicle defenses, and even in the aeronautics. Going to the free RTOS, this one from Amazon, it doesn't require any subscription. It's free to use, and it was made mostly for IoT systems, so ESP, Arduinos, STMs, basically all microprocessors support free RTOS. It also used a fixed priority preemptive, and all those OSs let you choose and you can change the algorithm they use. And this it also has the option to change between the round robin and first in, first out when you use the same priority scheduling. So this is one of the difference on free RTOS, and it's basically used on IoT systems like in your intelligent home or microprocessors for in small embedded systems. Now, how they can achieve so fast context switching, latency, so low latencies without any security compromise? Actually, they have some, and most of the RTOSs need to patch those systems frequently. One of the most common attacks is the side channel attacks, since you have the embedded system and the attacker maybe have access to the system so he can check the vibrations, the signals that were sent between the CPU and all those things. And one of those vulnerabilities is that the RTOSs are very easy to predict which test they're going to run, and this can lead to a side channel attack that is called cache attacking. That is when the attacker can sniff or change the cache when a target test is running to get a certain information. So the CPU got the memory from got the data from the memory and put on the cache, and then he can sniff on the cache or change or manipulate this cache to get this information. And there's a lot of solutions to that. And one is that was made for Intel, and also ARM proposed it, that is to encrypt this bus. So this is encrypt between the target test, the CPU, and the cache, and only them they can decrypt. And if the intruder tried to sniff on the bus or something like this, he cannot read anything. And this is one layer of security they can have, but it also takes more to do good security on preventing side channel attacks, such as reducing vibration or even randomizing vibrations or signals, because when they have access to that, they can easily get some information about how the system is working through their physical signs and voltages and everything, because normal times embedded systems you have them physically in your hand, and most of them supports a lot of protocols, so they can try to exploit some vulnerable protocols, such as even internet connections already happened with VxWorks. And so it's a very difficult problem that we need to solve. And as RTOSs, they are mission critical, so we cannot afford to have those security problems, even when you use on such important systems like medical ones and defense ones. Thank you very much for your attention. This is a brief explanation about my project. And if you want, I have more information in the paper. It will be more detailed about the algorithms and even more information that I didn't cover here on the presentation. Thank you very much.